Hey guys, on this video I'm going to talk to you about my Hyprland v3. Now before I go to the Hyprland v3 script, I would like to thank everybody for your support by subscribing to my channel. Thank you. I could see that slowly my subscriber count is growing, and I hope the new guys who are watching now, so please subscribe so I can have more subscription. So going back to my Hyprland v3 script, if you go to my GitHub and going to the README, what's new on this config is I introduced the screenshot with swappy, and I also introduced the clipboard manager. At heated 0, he suggested me this clipboard manager, and some guys, they were really asking, so it's a good idea to introduce this. And I renamed the scripts, but functions the same as my previous .files. This scripts is my Hyprland scripts, not this script installer. And if you just go through my readme, so you can see in here I added some of the how to upgrade, and also if you require an additional wallpapers, then I am pointing up to my Hyprland v2.1 to download more of the wallpapers. And then I think have the optional GTK themes, the either Capuchin or Mac OS styles. But note that switching dark to light needs GTK themes. However, I still keep it as optional. So if you don't want, then make sure to edit the dark light themes or dark light scripts. Okay, so before I go through my script, new script, I would like to show you first the changes from my previous .files. First is the GTK themes. Right now, my install and the one I'm using is the Capuchin GTK theme with the not shiny icons, dark and light icons. So transition of the dark and light, that's one of the themes. And then this is the MC Mojave or Mac OS style GTK theme. Notice the font color on the waybar plus the icon, circle icons. And if you notice as well, the color of the border is different. So this will give you an idea which GTK theme you will be installed once it offers to you on the script. So another change that I have added is the introduction of screenshot using swappy. So if you press Super Shift S, then where's my cursor now? Over here. Then it will give you an option. If you click on the left side, you can have this option in here. Let's say you need to type in here, say test, and then you can just click the save button or save the screenshot. Wherein my previous one, you still have the screenshots, which is super print screen, for example. Then it will save take a whole snapshot automatically, and it will be saved on the screenshot folder. And super shift print screen, then let's say you select one thing, then it will just save it. If you notice on the notification, which will be saved on pictures screenshot. So the swappy is called here, the swappy. See there, test. And then the last screenshot was this with the super shift print screen, and then this is the whole screenshot. Another thing that I have added on my .files is the cliphist or clipboard manager. So let's say I'll open one document. Let's say the readme on for my .files. So I'll copy this part, copy, and then copy another one, and let's just say copy the other one. Then I'm gonna open a new document. So you press Super Alt V as in victory, then you can paste whichever you want. So let's just say using the scroll up and down, or I believe you can just click, yeah, and then double click. So that's the what's new, right click and paste. Then again control Super Alt V, and then this Arch Linux installation, double click, control V, and so on and so forth. It changes from my previous files, so double click and then V. So there you have it. That's the clipboard manager. Now let's say there's a lot of the history already, which is on the clipboard manager or the cliphist. So you just need to type in cliphist wipe, and then it should clear your clipboard manager. So there you go. Nothing now appears on my clipboard manager. So that's the Super Alt V as in Victor. Okay, let's talk about the script. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about my new Hyprland v3 script. Normally, or this is designed to install on an Arch minimal installation using the Arch-install or any or the manual way to install Arch, the minimal or normally. However, because of my because of my condition now, I don't have any extra laptop or computer for me to record from that one. So I'm gonna install it on top of my Hyprland v2.2. This is the one I'm using now, my v2.2, and I'm gonna upgrade it to v3. Now you, as I showed on my previous videos before, you can install to any Arch Linux based distro. However, for the Manjaro, it's not supported, especially if you're using a Nvidia GPU. That's because Manjaro is just completely different. Not completely different, there's a lot of changes they made compared to the Arch Linux or any of the Arch base. So the first thing is, of course, open your browser, and then we're gonna type in git clone https github / Ja.KooLit hyprland v3.git. Now I'm recording this. If you notice here, I'm not connected to any network. That's because, again, my situation now, I have a very limited internet, and if I connect it to my internet, it gonna takes forever. So what I did before is just update it. Earlier I did a full update, so I have to do it stage by stage, so I cannot do it now while I'm recording. So that's already, let's say you have that one. As you can see, I have it already cloned earlier. And then next thing is cd Hyprland v3, change directory to that one. And then if you type in ls-l, you would notice here the install Hyprland v3 is still on, not green. Then we need to change it to as an executable. So chmod +x install Hyprland v3. Now let me just zoom in. Yeah, as you can see, so install Hyprland v3, enter. So Once you type in ls-l, then you could see that this one turns to green. That means it's executable. And then to run that one, /install hyprland v3. Now the script is similar to my v2.1, and then I just added some tweaks, and I'm gonna go through the whole process one by one, explaining the best I can. And I would like to highlight here that if you have not performed a full system update for a while, cancel the script by pressing Ctrl+C and then perform a full system update first. That's because I experienced that especially if you have a Nvidia GPU, the thing is, if there's a kernel update, then it might get an error during the install process. So carry out the full system update first, and then if it's like a big update, carry out the full update and then reboot your system and then rerun again the installer. So I will say yes. Oh, by default is no, so I forgot to type yes, so I have to redo it again. Sorry for that. And again, for those of you who are new to my channel, I've mentioned here that if you are installing on a virtual environment, VirtualBox, VMware, KBM, ensure that your 3D acceleration is enabled, because it will not start. That's 100% sure. So yes. And then the script, normally if you have a minimal installation, let me just open the script. If you have a minimal installation, then by default it will ask, let's see that one, it will ask you, it will check for if you have an AUR helper that's yay or paru, and then it will offer you if you want yay or paru, and you just need to type yes or Y or P. For yay is Y and P is paru, and then it will install the yay bin or the paru bin. But since I already have my AUR helper, so it skipped that process. And then the next step, if you see in here, it will carry out a full system update. Now obviously even I type here, it will skip because I'm not connected to the internet. And then it will detect your GPU. If you have a Nvidia GPU, there's more stages that you need to select in here. If you have an AMD or Intel, then it will just install the normal Hyprland. And then it's asking here, would you like to install the this Nvidia Hyprland? This means that this is the Hyprland Nvidia patch. So I'm gonna say yes in here, and then it already, obviously it will detect if there is another Hyprland installed. So, and then asking you if you want to install the Hyprland Nvidia. If you have a Hyprland Nvidia patch already, you could say yes in here or no. But since I have a Hyprland Nvidia, I'm just gonna say yes, and then see, it will skip the install because it detects that the Hyprland Nvidia is already installed. And this is the one that I added compared to my version 2.1, that the Nvidia DKMS driver only supports the GTX 900 series and newer. If you have an older card, older Nvidia, then it would be wise to say no in here, because if you choose no, then it will not install the driver settings and Nvidia utils, including the libva, so everything. So if going through let's go through the script. So it will what do you call this here, so it will not install these packages. Can I zoom here? No, I don't think I can zoom. Let me just zoom in. Where is that now? No. Oh, view, select font. So let me just increase so you can easily see. So here it will not install these packages. That is if you have an older one, because on my previous 2.1, I believe one of my user, he suggested that one, since he have an old Nvida GPU and he doesn't want to install the Nvidia DKML. So anyway, I have a RTX card in here, so I would say yes. So then see here, it will carry out, it will detect also, my mouse, so it will install the Linux headers or the Linux Zen headers, depending on what Linux kernel you have installed. So let's just say, and currently the kernel that is supported by my script is only the official Arch Linux kernel. That's the LTS, Zen, and Linux, and I have not tried the hardened one, so don't quote me on that. And then of course you go through the whole process, and then it will also add this Nvidia DRM mode set 1, and this is as per the Hyprland wiki. It is suggested to have that enabled. So since I already have enabled, and that's already on, yeah, it will add a option Nvidia DRM mode set 1 to this file. Anyway, and then it will ask you if you want to blacklist Novo. Novo is the open source Nvidia driver, and I had experience before, way back a few months ago, and even my early days of using Arch, I had always a black what do you call it, black screen after an update, so I was used to blacklisting the Novo. So it's a good thing here for to what I call this, to blacklist the Novo. And then as you could see here, it will install the set packages that I have set in order for my .files to work. And waybar is already installed, and it will ask you to, if it detects that you already have a waybar, then it will ask you that if you want to uninstall it, and then it will install the Hyprland Nvidia Git. If you click no in here, don't worry, it will just skip the Hyprland. And so let's just say no, or let me just for this video I would say no, then it would still continue on with the script. Now this is something new that I am offering, is the GTK themes, because this is needed for, let's just say, let me open this one, let's just make it close. This is for the transition of the dark and light themes. So as you can see here, it's changing between dark and light themes. So that's what's needed. So if you chose not to install the GTK theme, then you will not have that changes. And if I say yes in here, then it will offer you either Capuchin theme or the Mojave theme, which is the Apple-like. Plus, if you choose, if you type in any letters here, so it will not move the next step. So you have to choose either C or M. M is for Mojave and C is for Capuchin. So I'm gonna choose, for now, I'm gonna choose M, because actually this now this is similar to this now, the Capuchin theme. Anyway, I will show it to you later on. So I would say M in here, Mojave, and then asking you if you want to install the tuner as your file manager. And yeah, it's up to you, entirely up to you. And I like tuner, it works great for me, so I would say yes. And then if you want the Bluetooth packages, so you can say yes in here. If you don't want, you could choose no. So So I would say yes, and then the optional again, if you would like to install the SDDM as the login manager. This is now the one of the changes from the v2.1, because on the v2.1 I offered like the SDDM with the with the SDDM theme, SDDM Capuchin theme. Now this one is, I made it separate so you can install the themes you wanted. So I would say yes, and then as you can see in here, it detects that I already SDDM, so just say yes in here. But again, it's not what do you call this, I'm not connected to the internet, so that's why, so it will just skip. But you could see in here that the SDDM gate is already installed, and this is again the optional, the SDDM Capuchin theme. And I'm just later on when I boot my process, I'm just gonna take a quick snapshot using my phone, and then I'll edit it so I can show it to you, and so on. So I'll say yes, and then this is all optional for ROG laptops. Would you like to install? And it will install the Asus CTL. Let me just so as I think it's the Asus CTL. Bear with me. Yeah, it will install the Asus CTL and the Super GFX CTL and ROG Control Center. This ROG Control Center is actually this one here, since I have an ROG laptop, so I would say yes in there. And then asking you if you want to install the XDG portal Hyprland. Now as per wiki, you don't really need this one unless, but if you are using it for like a screenshot or screen recording, then it's advisable. So I would say yes, and then it will ask you if you want to manually remove all the XDG portal implementation. That's the XDG portal GNOME, XDG portal WLR, the LXQT, all that kind of things. However, I'd like to point out that the XDG portal KDE should be manually disabled or removed, because it's now baked to KDE. So sorry for the Plasma owners, Plasma users, the XDG portal KDE is now baked into your DE. So I would say yes. And then the next part is the, if you would like to disable the Wi-Fi power save. This is good if you don't want any Wi-Fi power saving on your laptop or in your desktop if you're using Wi-Fi. So I would say yes. And then same as the 2.1, it will auto detect your keyboard layout. So if it's correct, then you would say yes, of course. If you say no in here, I will just show you. If you say no, then you need to make sure that you need to type in the proper keyboard layout. Now I'd like to point out here that the GB is actually for our UK friends. If you have a UK keyboard, then you need to type in GB. I don't know why, but I found out the other day when one of my viewer, he asked me about this, that it doesn't work, the UK layout. So since I have a US layout, I'm just gonna type in here the US layout. And then this one is, of course, in order for my system to work, or the Dotfiles that I set to work, I would say yes, because don't worry, let's just say, let me just close this, let me open my config. It will create a backup of your, now let me just delete this one first, the backup. It will create a backup. So let's just take a look at this hyper here. If I say yes, then it creates a backup. So if let's say you have a old system files or old config or old Hyprland, you can still go through the settings that you have. Plus, if you copy the Dotfiles, it will also auto create a backup of your wallpaper, and then it will copy the wallpaper from my Dotfiles. And then of course, if you have a Nvidia then you need to reboot your system. That's just about it. And if you have a normal one, then you can just choose no yes in here, then it will start the Hyprland right away. So since I have an Nvidia GPU, I would say no, and then type in reboot. Now I cannot show it to you again because I'm only recording on my laptop. So I will be back once my system is already booted. Okay, so this is mostly for the guys who are new into using my Dotfiles. I'm gonna go through a little bit for the most used apps. So if you press Super D, then it will launch the Wofi menu, or like a menu. You can scroll or just use the up and down arrow key. To close it, you can press ESC escape, or Super Q. Okay, another one, Wofi, I call it Wofi Big, is Super Shift D. Then you got a much wider, bigger menu. To close it, escape, and then Super Enter to launch the TTY or the foot, and then Super Q to close, or Super Shift Q, so whichever you wanted. And then the waybar style, there's I think 5 or 6 waybar styles, so you can change to it. So Super Shift W, then it will change the style. So Super Shift W again to what you wanted. And then if you don't want like the top bottom, the waybar styles, I had made a pre-made some styles. So if you press Super Alt W, then you got this default, which is now this one. If just in plasma style, then the waybar will be at the bottom with a little bit like plasma style. And then Super Alt W again, let's say GNOME style. I try to imitate the GNOME. Then in addition, here you got the wallpaper button. So if you just press it, this will like choose a wallpaper. So now I have only one, so let me just add some pictures on the wallpaper. So not replace, so just skip that part. So click the wallpaper button, then you can choose which wallpaper you want, then it will change to that wallpaper. And then if I remember it correctly, if you right click it, you right click, then you have this sww animation. Let me just hold on, it's my mouse. And then by middle clicking it, then that's the waybar style change. It's in there. So right click, you got this change of the wallpaper, and then if you click it, it will be a manually, you can choose whatever wallpaper you want. Now the wallpaper, I didn't on my Dotfiles now, I didn't add anything, but on my I didn't add that much, but on my readme you can download it from my Hyprland v 2.1 Dotfiles. So you can I put it on the readme, the link. So that's the waybar style, and then there should be one for like the update button. Apparently it's not here. Odd. Let me just go back to plasma style again. There should be one update button at the below. By the way, there's also a weather button in here. How? Because I didn't enable on my system now, but initially there should be a weather waybar, weather module, sorry. And the update is somewhere here. I will double check, but I know that there is. So super Alt W, let's say dual panel, and you got this lock button. They have this idle inhibitor. So if you want also like simple, there's a small simple here. And then again, of course, you can always change the waybar style however you wanted. And then so for changing the wallpaper, it's either with that button or with the keybind super Control W. Then you can change the wallpaper. So you must be thinking there's a lot of stuff ongoing. Where can I find this? Where can I find that? All that kind of stuff. So if you need a help, so press Super H for help. Then it will launch the micro along with some help in this file. And yeah, I mean, it can guide you. And like I said, I don't know, on my README I changed the script names. However, on my previous Dotfiles, I will still support whenever you have a question. Anyway, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, or drop me or open an issue on my GitHub page, or you can join on my Discord group, or you can add me on my Discord. Sometimes, mostly I prefer actually the Discord, because if I request a screenshot or request some logs or log files, then it's easier to communicate on Discord. But I mean, if you have only like a normal question, you can comment on my YouTube, or like I said, open an issue on the GitHub, attach the files, all that kind of things. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. Again, thank you very much for subscribing. For those of you who haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you don't like it, please let me know what you didn't like, so I can at least improve. And please share my video to help me grow on my channel. Anyway, thank you very much. You have a good day, guys. Until next time. Bye now.